Trinity Sunday. It's kind of a hard concept. And the readings don't help much. They're pretty hard readings. So, we'll see what happens. Trinity Sunday, what is that? What is the doctrine of the Trinity? Doctrine of the Trinity?
God is three parts, but
God
one.
is three and God is one, yes? God is the Creator. God is Christ and Jesus. God is the Spirit. And God is one. So then we have the readings, and they're about visions. And it's hard to understand what's going on. And then they're about being born again. Like, can you go back into your mother's womb, get born again? But unless you get born of water and the Spirit, Jesus said, you don't get into the kingdom, God's kingdom. So a useful notion, I think, from the reading to the Romans is the one of adoption. Now, who gets adopted? When do you get adopted? You get adopted when you're all alone in the world. Right? You have nobody to look after you. And then somebody adopts you. Now, most of us here think weren't adopted, although I'm sure some were. Just Leah's like you. Now, I wasn't adopted. I grew up with two parents who loved me. But there are certainly times when I felt like I was all alone in the world. One time I remember was the first time I went to Cub Scouts. I was very little, but too young, I think. And there was a very big hall and very big kids. And I felt all alone in the world. And nobody adopted me. I just stayed alone. I stopped going. I was too scared. And then we moved houses, and I went to a new school. And it was a big school, and the same big kids. It was a scary place, but I didn't have a choice not to go. It was school. But Graham adopted me as a kid in my class. And we stayed friends all the way through high school and college. And school was a different place, because somebody had adopted me. When I got to college, it was really the Episcopal students on campus that adopted me. It was my home. I found a place. So all of us go through life where often we feel alone and isolated. And it's scary. And when we feel that way, we kind of live small. You know, we either hide out because we get really tough, or we try to figure everything out, or we try to not show up as much, or we try to please everybody, or we try to blame everybody. Our life is a mess. We live small. And that's what the readings which are talking about living according to the flesh are talking about. It isn't that our physical existence is what's wrong, and spirit is somehow different from the flesh. No, we are embodied beings. Paul uses the image of body to talk about the church. Body is a good thing. But when I act as though I am all alone in the universe, then I'm living in fear, and I go nowhere. My life goes nowhere. It's like I'm dead already. It's when I know that I am connected, I am adopted, I belong here, that I can live large. I can stand up and allow the spirit of connection, to lead me. And my life becomes glorious. It's the biblical word. It's there in the Hebrew scriptures, and it's there in the New Testament reading too. The opposite of fear is glory. And glory comes from knowing that I am in fact adopted. It's the universe itself that has adopted me. I'm a child of the universe. I belong there. So hopefully, St. Mark's functions this way for you. We come here because people know us and choose us, and they are glad to see us, and they celebrate us. And the response to being adopted is the response there in the Hebrew Scriptures, the very last line of that, which is, "Here I am, send me." Knowing that we are chosen, we are free to be who we are, to contribute what only we can contribute, our own particular and unique life. And it's that spirit which casts out the spirit of fear. So I've heard some rumblings, in the congregation, that you're fearful of what will happen when I go. And I know that I have in fact been present for many of you as you have learned to entrust your life to God in a different way. So what happens when I'm not here? Your safety net, me, is gone. Well, hopefully you got clear that it's God who has adopted you, not me. I was perhaps a midwife in the birth process, but I'm not your mother or your father. If you think I am, you're confused. It's the universe that birthed us. It's the universe that adopts us. And adoption will come from unlikely sources, including you. Shirley was clear of the need to adopt a certain young lady a few minutes ago who was stuck between her pew and her father. She needed somebody to adopt her, so Shirley did. And that's your job, to adopt one another. And to notice when adoption is offered and to say yes. And that's what happened. So, as Trish and I getting ready to leave, we're hoping that we will also be adopted. And we have signs that that's actually beginning to happen in Greensboro. Because we need to know that we too belong. And it's true that we have our own life of prayer and spiritual practice. But adoption also needs to come with a human face. We need the embodied love of other people. And we will be seeking that here. And you have that with one another here. And just as we don't want as individuals to live small, but to participate in the life of the universe, the Creator, the humanity, the Spirit that moves between us, the Trinity, the three in one God. So the church needs to do that. It's not just about the life of this congregation, but St. Mark's has been gifted these past 8 years by my presence and by God's presence among us. We have a lot to give to the wider church. And I trust that you'll be discovering that as you work with Pumpkin Patch, as you work with the bridge priest who will come, as you work with the priest in charge who will come, that you go from strength to strength, living not in fear, is this person going to be good, but in glory. What are the opportunities now to adopt and to be adopted as we together live as church?